evening. Welcome to a very special program. 93 seats in 11 states go to polls tomorrow. The third phase of these Lok Sabha elections. After polling in this phase, the bulk of the elections in terms of seats will be behind us.
So in fact, 283
a result
seats.
In about a month or so.
More
and
than
then we can sleep after.
Yes, 283 seats in all. Out of these, 543-member Lok Sabha will be over after tomorrow's phase. And going by 2019 data, a majority of these seats was won by the BJP. The party, in fact, had won 71 of these 93 seats which poll tomorrow, while the Congress got only 4.
For the Congress to make a mark in these elections, they'll need to make a severe dent in the BJP here in what may turn out to be a make or break moment for the India alliance.
And this phase also has several high-profile contests, including Home Minister Amit Shah, who is contesting for the second time from Gandhinagar. Dimple Yadav, who's Akhilesh Yadav's wife, is contesting from Mainpuri. Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia from Guna. Remember, he had lost that constituency in 2014, though. And Digvijay Singh from Rajgarh, where he's saying that this is his last battle. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister from Vidisha, and Supriya Sule, Sharad Pawar's daughter, fighting from the bastion of Baramati.
But I think what we'll first do, Maria, is take a look of where it's all happening today. So let's first have that map graphics of all of the states and all of the seats where it's all going to be taking place, polling taking place tomorrow. It is across several states in the country this time, 11 states, 93 seats, as you can see. Assam, 4 seats. Bihar, 5 seats. Let's keep changing that. Chhattisgarh, 7. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, 2. Goa, 2 seats. Gujarat, 25 seats. Very important. Karnataka, 14. MP, 9. Maharashtra, 11. Uttar Pradesh, 10. Bengal, 4 important seats. So 93 seats in 11 states. We're just in phase 3. After this, in terms of seats, most of this will be behind us, but not in terms of phases.
Yes, and with this, Vishnu, the elections will be over completely in Gujarat and in several other states, 5 states in all. But as we know that there are 3 states, which is Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Bengal, which poll in 7 phases. Let me bring in my guests now. From the Congress party, we have Jabi Mathur. Dr. Syed Zafar Islam is the spokesperson of the BJP. Sanjay Kumar, professor of CSDS. Amitabh Tiwari here in the studio. Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist. Let me begin with you, Sanjay Kumar. In the third phase, and after this third phase, 283 seats would have polled. What is it that you'll be watching out for?
In the third phase, as you have already mentioned, BJP has a lot to defend. 94 Lok Sabha seats goes to poll in the third phase, and BJP has a sitting MP in 73 out of these 94 seats. So BJP has a lot to defend, and this is also, if you go by the phase-wise poll, this is the strongest area of the BJP, because BJP's vote share all over the country in 2019 was 37%, and this is the area which goes to poll tomorrow. BJP's vote share is almost 48%. It's 10%, 12% higher, 10% higher compared to the average vote share. So this is the strongest area which goes to poll for the BJP. BJP has a lot to defend, and if BJP is able to defend, we would not know until 4th of June, but at least you get some sense. If BJP is able to defend, I think BJP would be, I would be looking at BJP's.
In fact, if we were to break that down for the BJP, the party had won 38 seats, Vishnu, with a vote share of 50 to 60%, and in 20 seats it was 60 to 70%, and in 2 seats were over 70%.
Yeah. In fact, we'll come to those graphics in just a moment because what the performance of all the formations and parties were, that's absolutely key to what we're looking at. But let's talk a little bit about voter turnout, what it's been. Yes. Is this a factor at all? Sanjay has a very strong perspective on this. Last time around, he told me, oh, come on, Vishnu, it doesn't necessarily make a difference. But I think there's some interesting data. So let's focus on the data and then go to Amitabh and Sanjay once again. So will a low turnout impact, firstly, the Madhya Pradesh elections? Let's have that up full screen if we can. So you've got the 2019 figures. Let's have that up full screen so that we can look at it or see it carefully. So it's in phase 1 and phase 2, you can see that there has been a decline in phase 2 compared to phase 1 in Madhya Pradesh. And in 2024, you've got it on the right hand side of the screen. Phase 1 phase 1 6 seats in 2024, 67.8%. Phase 2 was 58.6%, so that's down 9.1%. If you take a look and break that up into males and females, men and women, then it's down 7%. Last time, the change from 2019 is down 7. It was 75.6 for male voters in 2019. That is down to 68.6. So that's down 8.2 from last time. If you take a look at women voters in 2019, it was 74.1 percent, and in 2024, in phase 1, it was 66.9. In phase 2, it was 55.4. So that's down 9.8. So all in all, it's a substantial difference just in Madhya Pradesh from last time around. But will this decrease in voter turnout have a potential impact in polls? We've got another set of graphics which actually tells an interesting story over here. Let's see if we can actually bring that up, because turnout might just be an important or an interesting factor. So will a decrease in voter turnout impact polls? Now, this is 2019 versus 2024. Phase 1 was in the Lok Sabha elections 70% in 2024. Phase 1 66.1, so that's a change of 3.9. In phase 2 it was a change of 3.4%. So what does this all lead to? Can we bring out the numbers from earlier on in the elections, looking at it from the 70s on to 2024, 1977 to 2019, the impact over here. And so if you look at it, on seven occasions,
yes,
the incumbent government, there have been changes, right? On 7 occasions.
On 7 occasions, when the voter turnout actually increased, the incumbent government
has changed on 4 occasions.
Yes.
They've repeated on 3 occasions. The second set, whenever the turnout has decreased, there has been a change on 5 occasions, with a change taking place on 4 occasions and a repeat taking place in 1. So, all in all, there is something to be said about an increase in voter sort of availability of voters turning around. Amitabh, would you have any opinions on that?
See, as you are showing on the screen, there is no clear correlation or a strong trend between an increase or a decline in turnout with electoral results. When turnout has increased almost 50% of the times, half, the governments have changed or repeated. When the turnout has declined though, it's a high probability that the government is not repeated. And the 5 times when BJP has come to power from 1996 to 2019, 4 times, again similar numbers as you are showing, 4 times the turnout has increased.
Okay, so, Zafar Islam, how much of that is a concern for the party? Lack of enthusiasm, certainly, in the first 2 phases.
Well, as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, we are not overly concerned about the number of turnout has come off by 3% or 3.4%. We know exactly the ground realities, we know exactly the ground feedback, we exactly know what is our likely seats in first phase, phase 2, and this is something which has already been stated by our senior leaders, that we have already crossed the triple digit mark. So we are comfortable, and as Sanjay Kumar in his opening remarks was speaking about third phase, given the third phase is like our bastion, this is a very strong BJP support wherever the election is taking place in third phase. Last time we won out of 93, 71 seats. This time we are likely to improve our number, and as he said, Mr. Sanjay Kumar was saying that if it does happen, they can just repeat the performance, which we think that we can improve our performance, last time's performance, then we are going to cross 300 plus. So 300 plus. So we in all probability we will improve our performance, and we are on track for 370 and 400 plus for NDA.
Right.
Sanjay, I just wanted to come across to you. You know, what we were looking at was for this phase. You know, if there are a lower percentage of people coming out to vote. But if you look at the 2019 figures, of 62 seats in which the turnout had declined, the winner changed for 14 seats. So it's a significant number. In contrast, of the 31 seats that saw higher voting, the incumbent lost in 9. This could just be a statistical fact. It may not be linked to anything. Again, is there any reason why we should be looking at these numbers more seriously, or should we just look at it as numbers and what it's thrown up?
No, I don't think that we should be just keeping these numbers aside. I think these numbers do give us some ideas, but I think the numbers does not give us an idea to the extent that we have to believe that if the turnout has declined, and out of 5 times if the turnout has declined, 4 times the government has changed, which is to say there is a chance of government getting defeated. But yes, it is an indication. The indication is very clear. Voters are turning out to vote in lesser number, and there is a probability, slightly higher probability, that the BJP voters are not turning out to vote, because I think BJP is getting, BJP is getting the, what you call the, BJP ko ye nuksan ho raha hai ki you created this perception that BJP is winning hands down.
That euphoria.
So
the great degree of complacency, but on the other side it can be argued, and I'll bring that question to JB Mathur.
Can I
Yes,
just
please,
make
go ahead.
one statement, one point here?
Yes.
Can I just make one point?
Yes.
See, when the margin of victory in all the cases, when it comes to number of seats we have won in phase 1, phase 2, and see the margin of victory, we have been, most of the cases, like in this case, third phase, you were talking about 50 to 60% votes have been polled in favor of BJP candidate. Even they went beyond 70% as well. So even if slightly, even if you assume for a moment, which we are not concerned, even if that is the concern you are expressing, that lower turnout may impact BJP's number of seats, or it may impact BJP, but it will not, because even if you assume that it has, our voters have not turned out, which is not the truth, still we will not be impacted.
In fact, we've got a graphic to sort of
though
back
we
what
know
you're
that
suggesting.
all our voters have turned up.
Zafar Saab, half a second, I'll let you continue your point. I actually have a graphic which reflects this. If we can bring up graphic 13, last election, the BJP won 71 out of 80 contested seats with a whopping 89% strike rate in these areas. So what the BJP would want to do is ensure that its performance is repeated. Just look at it. You know, I mean, if you look at the BJP, you know, the NDA 78, of that the BJP won 71, the Congress just 4 last time around. So the BJP cannot afford complacence. I'm sure Zafar Saab would accept that in order to maintain its 89% strike rate. If you look at the 2019 average win margin, right, the NDA was at 21%, the India Alliance at 11%, of that the BJP at 21%, but the Congress dismally low at 4%. And finally, just in terms of, again, the 2019 strike rate figures, in the third phase, the turnout, the third phase, BJP was at 89%, overall at 69%, the Congress, their strike rate was at just 5% and an overall of 12%. So if you look at those numbers, then you know what we can ask the Congress spokesperson, JB Mathur, is you know, in as much as the Congress may be hoping that perhaps a low turnout is something that might benefit the India Alliance, if you look at what JB you are up against this time around, I mean, the writing is on the wall. It's going to be very, very challenging for the India Alliance to break through, particularly in this phase. Do you accept that it's daunting?
Vishnu and Maria, first of all, the graphics, the statistics and the data, everything is fine. I mean, you're showing about 2019, that past is surpassed and we agree. But so much has changed. So if we are expecting, or if we are discussing in the lines of, okay, 2019 is such as the case, And if will that be repeated? That will certainly be not repeated. If it is to be repeated, means then there's no point about discussion at all. The point I wish to make is this particular phase, the third phase, is very crucial, definitely for India Alliance and also for BJP, because the way we look at it is any change or any gain, it is our gain. Particularly, you look at Maharashtra and Karnataka. There's a lot of difference between 2019 and 2024, and also between 2019 and 2024. Consider the issues, the people, how the life of people have changed, the miserable, the unemployment, all these issues the people are facing.
While I
look
may
at all
agree
that,
with you,
what has
particularly in the
happened
context of
2019,
Maharashtra,
that's fine.
But look at 25 seats of Gujarat going to polls. Are you really in the contest there? No, right? So there is a significant chunk of these seats are coming from those seats which are those states which are considered to be states where the BJP won almost 100%. Maharashtra, of course, I agree that there is a lot of chaos. We really do not know which way it will go. If anything, BJP appears to be, certainly going down in its numbers there because of the larger sentiment, Zafar, and that will be a matter of concern. But Jabi, let me ask you this question. Yes, the voter percentage has gone down, but the BJP here is a cadre-based party. They have proper, data to back from which booth, how many people did not turn up. What about the opposition? Is there a sense that this is an election where the BJP is firmly in the pole position? So there is that, a great degree of disenchantment also among your supporters and voters? That kuch bhi ho, result to pata hi hai.
No, certainly that's not the case. It is a very seriously fought election. And as far as India Alliance and Congress party is concerned, we are very confident about this election that there's going to be a dramatic change all over. And even, I wish to speak about Gujarat also. I agree that, Gujarat, it's a sweeping majority, the trend or the 2019, all that is a fact. We cannot deny that. But even from Gujarat, we are expecting a change in Gujarat as well, because there are infighting in Gujarat. There are issues in Gujarat within BJP also. So what we are saying, the issues of national issues or national concern of the people, of what that matters is there in Gujarat also. So whatever, again I wish to make a point, whatever we gain is a gain. Vishnu and Maria, I wish to reiterate that whatever we are gaining is a gain. And that gain, if you look at first phase, second phase, second phase with Kerala, Tamil Nadu and all that, it's a sweeping for India Alliance.
All right, so you feel that these changes are adding up for the India Alliance. I take that. But just on the point,
also one more thing.
Maybe half a sec. Let me structure it a bit.
Voter turnout is because of the lack of enthusiasm among BJP.
I wanted to just bring up the graphic on Gujarat, if we can, for a moment.
Are disappointed.
Because that just puts a little bit of structure to what we are talking about. Can the BJP repeat a clean sweep? If you look at what happened last time around, this was the number of seats being contested 25, the Congress is contesting 23, the Aam Aadmi Party is contesting 2, so that's how it's stacked up in terms of the alliances this time around. But let's take a look at the performance of the various parties last time around. So let's just change that graphic to what happened last time around. So can the BJP repeat a clean sweep? If you look at the 2009, 2014 and 2019 results. If you look at 2019, extreme right of your screen, just look at the Congress. The Congress was at 0. The BJP all 26. So Jebi, in as much as you say that anything that you gain over here is, would help the India Alliance, it's not just 2019 when the Congress registered 0. In 2014, you registered 0 as well. In fact, your voter percentage in 2014 and 2019 at 33 and 32% was almost identical. Again, this is an area where the NDA, the BJP particularly, would be looking for a complete sweep.
And so that brings us to that point, to Zafar Islam. Zafar Islam, there is a certain degree of unease among the Kshatriya Rajput community after Union Minister Purushottam Rupala's comment. In fact, as many as 65% Rajputs had voted for the BJP in 2019. How much of that is a matter of concern this time around? Particularly after that statement.
Well, that issue, I will not deny the fact that there was a small issue which has been resolved, and there is absolutely no outstanding issues which exist in as far as Kshatriya community is concerned in Gujarat. Having said that, I heard Vishnu saying that whether BJP is complacent. Say there is absolutely no headroom for us to be complacent. We know exactly that, and if anybody knows that Bharatiya Janata Party put all our resources to work. We fight every election with sincerity, with all our might. So there is absolutely no headroom for complacency, and we know exactly that even whether it's Gujarat, 26 seats of Gujarat, or for that matter, all the 11 states where the election is taking place in third phase, we have put all our resources to work. Every single Karyakarta is on their toes, because BJP is one exceptional party. Whether it's a assembly election, whether it's a
but therefore, you haven't really answered my question.
Smaller election,
is that discontent
or
among
as a
the
general election, we
Rajputs
fight
actually ensuring mobilization of that calm, which is Kshatriya, Harijan, Adivasi, Muslim vote bank towards the Congress?
Not at all. As I said, that this is just a perception which is being created. The reality is very different. The ground reality, which we get feedback from our Karyakarta, Panna Pramukh, and that is something which no other political party can claim, to have this kind of a setup where every single piece of information, household is connected by our Karyakarta or Panna Pramukh, and those feedback, after filtering it, it reaches to our senior leadership, and accordingly all the strategies are designed and structured, so that there is absolutely no concern as far as Kshatriya community is concerned, because they have always been part of us. We have always respected them. We will continue to ensure that their interest is safeguarded.
Okay, I get that. You are confident that will not be a factor. I'm just quickly moving on to other states. We've got a lot to cover because it's a huge phase this time around. So Karnataka. So let's take a look at the next set of graphics. And I think the big question, of course, in light of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, will the Ravanna sex abuse allegations impact the BJP-JDS alliance? Phase 3, both the Congress and the BJP are contesting in 14 seats apiece. Let's take a look at what happened over here. Last time around, the Lok Sabha results in phase 3, 14 seats last time around. We're starting, in fact, from 2009, because it's actually a useful point to go through these. The key point is the JDS is the party which is in a lot of trouble. Obviously, the BJP, on account of being alliance partner, finds itself being questioned, but the JDS has done terribly in phase 3 in all the last 3 elections over here. 0 in 2009, 0 in 2014, 0 in 2019. The Congress also abysmal. It is in a sense the BJP's phase in Karnataka to lose. But the question, Nija, therefore is, how serious are these allegations of sexual abuse in terms of what it could impact voters over here?
Yes, and because just to add to what Vishnu was saying, these 14 seats, Nirja, are in northern and central Karnataka. So they have this narrative, particularly to the effect of Lingayat voters. Will there be some shift because of the sex scandal?
I think, the Ravanna controversy, Prajwal sex scam, has stunned people all over Karnataka. There's no doubt about that. Of course, it will damage the Janata Dal S. It's a huge setback for them. I mean, it is happening in the fortress and fiefdom of they've got a family, all that's there. But will it have an impact on the BJP seats? The BJP has tried to distance itself away from this. And therefore, that really remains to be seen. And the areas where the voting is taking place are not the Janata Dal S areas. Janata Dal S is more strong in the south, where they have a grip over the situation. These are areas where Yedurappa and his team hold sway. And Yedurappa, as we know, has been given a free hand this time in the distribution of tickets. So let's see how much of an impact seat-wise this scam has. It is being watched very carefully. But for the BJP to overall match its 2019 performance or to better it is a tall order, because it had got 25 out of 28 seats last time. And
Right.
today you have a Congress government in the saddle, and an effective Congress government vis-a-vis thinking politically. Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar are political entities who are planning, moving steps ahead of their opponents also. So
Right.
they are the team to contend with. So let's see how Karnataka is a very fascinating state
It
at the
is
moment,
indeed.
as is Maharashtra.
Sanjay, if we look at this graphic on the consolidation of the Lingayat vote, which is what the BJP would want to do, in terms of securing the Lingayat vote, it had come down fairly sharply in 2023 as opposed to 2019, last time around when elections took place over here.
Assembly
Obviously, at
versus
the
the Lok
assembly
Sabha.
elections versus the Lok Sabha elections. Is that again an area of concern for the BJP, that in the recent Vidhan Sabha elections, that consolidation appeared to have come down of the Lingayat votes?
It should be a matter of concern for BJP, but also one should not forget that BJP has always got more votes among various caste communities in the Lok Sabha election if you compare it with the Vidhan Sabha election. State by state, if you look at the vote share of BJP in a Vidhan Sabha election, in the Lok Sabha election, you see a difference. In Vidhan Sabha election, BJP gets less vote, and in the Lok Sabha election, they get more votes. And that is the reason why in 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the Lingayat vote is far more polarized in favor of BJP compared to the Vidhan Sabha election. This applies to, if you, for an example, if you take the Yadav vote in Bihar or in UP, if you compare with the assembly elections of UP and Bihar compared to the Lok Sabha election, you will find more or less the similar trend. Not at this scale, but the similar trend. But yes, you're right. It should be a matter of concern for BJP, because this polarized Lingayat vote in favor of BJP in 2019 is only and only because of Modi being a factor. So in the long run, BJP has a worry.
Sure.
Because Modi is the only vote puller and he is able to, consolidate the vote.
Jagdish Shettar is back in the fold, Amitabh. Let's take that thought a little ahead. And B.S. Yedurappa's son is actually the state unit president. So the BJP has reasons to think that the Lingayats would look at Lok Sabha elections differently in comparison to assembly elections.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main reasons for the decline in Lingayat support was that Yedurappa was removed as chief minister and replaced by Bombay. So he has a fan base in north of Karnataka and in fact across the state. And now with Vijayendra back as state president of the BJP, I think BJP should hope that they have been able to negate the anger which the community had towards the party in the 2023 Vidhan Sabha elections. So here I think the women factor plays a big role, because the sex tape allegations are related to women factor, and Siddaramaiah government has made decent inroads amongst the women because of the implementation of guarantee. So that could be one of the factors to watch out keenly in northern Karnataka. And JDS still has 7-8% vote share.
Yes.
In this, it has 5 MLAs out of 19 from north and central Karnataka.
7% here.
Yeah.
In fact, we're talking about the women voters. We've got a graphic on the higher women turnout in 2024 in the previous phases. So let's have that up on the screen. The higher turnout of women in Karnataka this time around, in phase 2 and phase 3. On the left hand side, it's 2019, right hand side is this time around. Obviously, the column on the extreme right, we don't know as yet, that's going to be voting tomorrow. But compare phase 3 at 68.7% or 68.7%, 2019. That in phase 2, extreme left, 69%. In phase 2 in 14 seats, that went up to 69.6% in terms of overall turnout. But go right down where it says female. Phase 2 in 14 seats, it was in 2019 at 68.5%. In phase 3, that went down slightly to 66.7%. But in phase 2 in 2019, but in 2024, it's gone, the woman voter at 69.7% is higher than the male voter in phase 2 in Karnataka at 69.5%. I mean, Sanjay Kumar, the active participation, or the relatively active participation of women this time around, that in phase 2 in Karnataka, this time around, they have voted more than men. What does that indicate?
Yes, if you go by the figure, they have voted slightly more compared to men. But I don't think that the difference is so much that we start reading into what may be the implication. These are minor differences. If the gap was say about 5 or 6%, then I think it needed a more careful analysis. It needed a more careful looking at the data. But I think these are minor shifts. It always takes place from one election to another election. I won't be looking at or paying too much of attention on this data.
All right. We have psephologist and economist Surjit Bhalla also joining us on this special broadcast. Dr. Bhalla, really appreciate your time here on NDTV. First 2 phases, what's your assessment, particularly as we build up to the 3rd phase, which is tomorrow, on the voter percentage going down? What's your reading into it?
Yeah, no, I've been following what the experts have been saying. And, all of them, I think, broadly agree that analysis of turnout is not the simplest thing in the world. So that's the first point I want to make. It's a very, very controversial, and you can get various different results depending on how you choose the time period when the turnout changed. The second, and I think a strong result over time, and which also fits into heuristic analysis, is that if a challenger has to succeed, then almost a necessary condition for the challenger to succeed is that the turnout goes up, increases. That shows there's a lot that is going to be a lot closer election than the previous one. So I think, and looking at the data for the first 2 phases, whether you look at men, whether you look at women, and whether you look at the total, is basically about 3 percentage points down from what it was last time. So I think I find it very difficult to read too much into the turnout of the first 2 phases, other than to say that it does not look like a very, very competitive election. On the other hand, now looking at tomorrow's, what happens, and both the NDA and India have large leads, as you have shown, or large margins from the previous election. So I think the most interesting aspect of tomorrow's election is going to be how the Congress constituencies fare in terms of turnout. And this will be a leading indicator of how well the Congress is doing. Remember, you showed that the margins of NDA and INDA in general were quite large, and therefore both of them can suffer some drawdown in their turnout. But the Congress, with only a 4% margin, so I'd be very keenly watching. I haven't sort of followed turnout so much in the first 2 phases, but in this one, I think how Congress fares is going to be quite an interesting result.
All right, so just be with us as we roll out our next set of graphics, and we'll get to Maharashtra and pick your brains on that. Out of 11 seats up for election, 7 are located in western Maharashtra, 2 each in Marathwada and in the Konkan region. On the Baramati seat, the contest is between the NCP and the NCP Sharad Pawar, making it a test to determine what is, in the minds of people at least, the real NCP. The Maharashtra Pawar play, it's Pawar versus Pawar. Both the India Alliance and the NDA contesting 11. And of course, you've got the various factions, the NCP and the NCP loyal to Sharad Pawar. You've got the Shiv Sena and the Shiv Sena loyal to Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray as well. So it is in a sense a battle for identity. Let's move on to the next set of graphics in Maharashtra. And if we take a look at that, the phase 3 results, the total number of seats 11 in 2019. The BJP had done well over here. The BJP and the Shiv Sena had won 4 seats apiece, had won 8. The Congress and the NCP at that stage together had won 3, of which the NCP had won all 3. So this was an area where, this time around, the opposition is quite clearly devastated because their old alliances have been altered substantially. One more statistic over here on Marathas and the OBC vote over here. Where will it go this time? Who voted for whom? Let's take a look at what this was. The Maratha and OBC votes 2019, what it was. So there you have it. It's a breakup of the BJP and the Shiv Sena dominant among upper castes. Let's go back to the previous page if we can for a moment, go through that as well.
Yes.
The Marathas 59% were with the BJP. OBCs, the BJP again strong, but among others, it's the Congress and the NCP stronger among SCs, or near about as close to SCs over there. Let's go to the next page. STs, I beg your pardon, and the Muslim community is where the Congress and the NCP were large. So, Sujit Bhalla, if you look at the state of alliances in Maharashtra last time to this time around, it's almost as if it's a brand new election with brand new players.
And very chaotic.
Looking at these numbers, I guess, and that's what you have been showing earlier, that this does look like NDA's day tomorrow. And therefore, given that I thought that the Congress was vulnerable in terms of the turnout and that one could read something, but if the margins are that large, then I'm not so sure the turnout for the Congress would also make much difference. So I think, and on the other hand, so that we all keenly follow what happens, is the change between the NDA and INDIA that might provide us useful insights as to what is happening in the election. So I think, all things considered, tomorrow's election does seem to provide. Maharashtra is one of the most interesting states in this election, with this three-way fight and a close. It'll decide the future of many politicians and perhaps political parties as well.
Would you also say, Dr. Bhalla, that there were certain mistakes made in this alliance because, if you are in Baramati and I was in Nashik and that entire belt, you do sense that sympathy for Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray, that BJP perhaps went overboard in breaking parties is the larger sense. So how crucial is Maharashtra going to be? Because last time around, BJP won 23 of the 25 seats it's contested. And of course, the entire alliance with the Shiv Sena, it was a clean sweep for them.
Yeah. We saw what happened from the previous election in the assembly election, when suddenly things changed because the Shiv Sena then aligned with the NCP, or the old Shiv Sena. I don't know what one calls it. So, I still get the feeling that exactly given the numbers, I'm not so sure. As I said, only a deviation from the last seat share, and there's no reason to think there won't be a deviation. But I think it'll be very, very interesting to look at the deviations from 2019 and then infer both about Maharashtra in general and what's happening in the rest of the country. So in that sense, given that it's an even battle, even in terms of the margins have been quite large for both the camps, that I think tomorrow evening I'll be watching you guys and see how you're interpreting both the turnout and any information that you get from the various constituencies. So,
Yes.
no, I think we are at the halfway stage, and it is getting, I guess, we are almost like the semi-final stage, or maybe in a T20, about the 10 over stage. So,
Little over the 10 over
yeah.
stage at this stage in terms of remaining
So
seats.
we're not in the last 3 overs
No, not
where
yet.
everything can
Not
happen.
yet.
So this is
It's a very
where,
long process.
yeah.
Some would suggest it feels like a test match at this stage because it's a pretty hot summer. We'll take a short break at this stage. We've got two more states to look at, Bengal and Uttar Pradesh as well.
And
We'll
Madhya
bring up
Pradesh,
some
yes.
data. That's right, and MP as well. That's coming up in just a few moments. Do stay with us. Welcome back. We've been quickly going from state to state. Very, very important elections happening tomorrow. Phase 3 votes. But let's focus on Uttar Pradesh now. Compare or bring you an idea of what happened in 2019 in the Lok Sabha results over there. 10 seats in Uttar Pradesh went to elections in Phase 3. The BJP had 51.7% of the votes and 8 seats is what they won. The Congress 0 seats over here and just 4.1% of the votes. The BSP and the SP last time around, remember, they were in an alliance. That's not there now. But they won 2 seats with 41% of the votes. It was all the Samajwadi Party with 2 seats when you look at the number of seats that they won. So that was last time around. But the fact, Maria, that the SP and the BSP aren't together this time,
Yes.
that's changed this arithmetic quite substantially.
Yes, absolutely. And Nija, the myths of strongholds have been broken in many ways. Across India, I would say, not just in Uttar Pradesh, there are few pockets which are still seen as strongholds or these bastions. So in this election, particularly that's happening tomorrow, Mainpuri, for example, is a stronghold. But Kannauj, again, it's not a stronghold.
That's right. But there are the VIP seats that are going to polls tomorrow are many of them.
Yes.
If you look at Vidisha, Shivraj Chauhan,
Yes.
you look at Guna, Jyotiraditya Scindia, you look at Rajgarh, Digvijay Singh, all very tall, seasoned leaders are going to face the electorate tomorrow. Again, very interesting what happens to them. And Mainpuri, Dimple, yes, you're right, a very strong seat. Kannauj, not so strong. Absolutely. So Samajwadi Party also is being watched with great care, particularly in this phase that's going to the polls tomorrow, because the BJP had done extremely well last time.
Yes, and would you say that the Jatavs are an important factor here, because the Jatavs were part of that Mahagathbandhan that the SP and BSP formed in 2019. Now the Jatavs may not look at Samajwadi Party as favorably as they did last time around because of the alliance.
And Mayawati is also fielded, the
Yes.
candidates of in the first phase, for instance, she fielded mostly candidates from communities, smaller communities, Prajapati, Saini, Tyagi, who would cut into the BJP's vote. But in subsequent elections, she's done the opposite, which were candidates that will cut into the Samajwadi Party vote. I also met, in UP, Mayawati's supporters, the smaller communities, as also Dalits, who said that if Mayawati feels a Muslim, we will then turn to the BJP. So the Hinduization of these communities has also taken place in the last decade or so.
Yes, and the larger question is, where is Mayawati? I mean, the most important factor in Indian politics till 2019 is completely missing in action. And is there some reason why the BJP has reasons to cheer? Because, in the absence of an alliance, which actually numerically did cause some harm to the BJP, reducing their numbers of 2014 from 71 to 62. Zafar Islam, you have reasons to cheer that, there is no alliance of that nature, and Congress really isn't a formidable force, even if it's in alliance with the Samajwadi Party in these elections in UP.
Well, in Uttar Pradesh, we have an extremely strong base. No matter whether they align with each other, they fight away from each other, we are not overly concerned about it, because We exactly know that in Uttar Pradesh today, everybody wants to vote for Modi. And he is the most admired leader. Last time, yes, they came together, maybe it has helped them, but this time they are fighting with each other. It will only benefit us. And it is for them to decide why they are fighting separately, or whether Mayawati's support does go to Samajwadi Party candidate, but Samajwadi Party candidates cannot somehow push their vote bank to support Mayawati's candidate. So this has not worked for them, but as far as Bharatiya Janata Party, we have a strong base. Whether they fight together, whether they fight separately, our vote bank is very safe and secure, and we will win all the seats this time, 78 seats out of 86.
Essentially on Mayawati, or absence of her.
No, see, that has been her style of politics, and she does not campaign a lot. Though
No, but she has hardly, she's not even
she's
seen
not
this
even
time
visible,
around.
yeah. So you mentioned an important point on the SC votes. So 70% Muslim, Yadav and SC votes voted for Mahagathbandhan in 2019.
Yes.
Right.
So this 70% SC vote now could go back to Mayawati, and that is what could hamper the SP and Congress alliance chances here.
Okay.
However, she has been branded as a B team of BJP, and that has somehow chipkaw on her. So that is also a factor now, which she has to factor in while announcing candidates, and her party faces a crisis.
And she's constantly changing candidates also, which is sending a message that is there some other backroom understanding which is going on here.
Shall we turn our attention briefly to Bengal? There are 4 very important seats in Bengal: Malda Uttar, Malda Dokhin, Jangipur and Murshidabad. So very important because it's the Malda region. It's got a high minority population. It's been a traditional Congress stronghold in the past, though the party won only the Malda Dokhin seat in 2019. There's been a split of votes between the Congress and the Trinamool, and the BJP ended up getting the Malda Uttar seat. I'm joined now by Subhash Sarkar, senior BJP leader. Thanks very much for being with us. One of the pressing issues this time around in Bengal has been the issue of Sandesh Khali. Now, the latest in that, sir, is that the Trinamool has released a sting video showing a Sandesh Khali BJP functionary apparently admitting that many of the charges, including rape in the area, were leveled following instructions from seniors of your party. How would you respond?
Trinamool is always, it mimics their all things, always they put their ideas on the opponents in a very bad ways. And they put always and try to defame everyone. And always they defend their persons. Even the chief minister, she tried to defend Shah Jahan. It is their criteria, it is their practice. They will always practicing in this way. They defend the gundas, they defend the criminals, and always they try to hide the truth. And for that, they make any kind of scenario. It is their practice.
All right, so well, thanks very much for being with us. We'll be focusing a lot more closely on Bengal tomorrow. That's when the voting takes place. Absolutely critical elections tomorrow. The third phase, 93 seats are up for grabs in 11 states. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. I'd like to thank our panelists this evening. It's going to be an important election tomorrow. Voter turnout, what's going to happen? Lots more to talk. Good night.
And our special broadcast actually begins at 7 a.m. tomorrow, so do join us. Thank you.